The next section that we're going to cover is about entertainment. And you can see I don't have a whole lot of directions as it relates to entertainment because I don't want to make the choices for you. There's quite a few options in terms of entertainment. So this would be anything you would do after work for fun. So it could be something like renting a video or buying a CD or buying music on iTunes or some other subscription-based service like Spotify or something. Maybe buying a game or renting any of these things. Going out to the movies, going to a theater or to a concert or to a live play, or buying books or digital books. Any kind of hobbies that you might have, like for example, taking photographs and photography. Any sports that you might play, or sports that you might go watch, like the Heat game or a Marlins game or a hockey game. Any recreation that you might pursue, like playing any of those sports on your own. Any electronic toys or gadgets that you might purchase. And the one that I think most of you will end up with is some type of vacation or travel. So, for example, let's say we were talking about the movie theater. A place that you can go in order to purchase tickets is Fandango, and that'll allow us to make a purchase for a movie. And so we'll select a movie. Let's say we want to see Captain America. We'll want to find the movie times for our city, wherever your city is going to be. And so you'll want to purchase yourself your ticket. And so you can see here in this example, it's $11. And so you'll print this page that has the information about how much the movie costs, as well as the area. You'll notice there's regional differences in terms of ticket pricing. So that's just one example. When it comes to something like vacation and travel, you can use Priceline. It's a simple and easy way to get a whole package for a trip. Things may end up being cheaper if you were to purchase them independently, but let's say you were going to fly from here to, say, Seattle, Washington, which is a really beautiful place, by the way. And you're going to leave on a Friday and you'll come back on Wednesday, spend a few days there. Don't worry that it says 2 adults. Most rooms are going to be based on 2 adults staying in the hotel room, and so this will give you a price on a per person basis. So the fact that it says 2 adults doesn't really matter that much. And it's got us a package, so you can see there's a lot of options to choose from in terms of hotels and their star ratings and cost, of course. So you'll select one, whichever one you choose, and once you do so, you'll print it out. You'll want to circle the number that shows the price per person, since you will be booking this for just yourself, at least for now. Assuming you want to take somebody else with you, right? Be very generous. You can see the total cost there to take someone with you. Now, this amount, right, when you print this page and you insert the numbers into your budget, if you're going to be taking a trip like this, once a year, then you're going to want to divide the amount by 12. If you're going to take a trip like this twice a year, then you'll divide that amount by 6 instead, and include the result in the budget. Don't put that in your budget for every month unless you plan on going on a trip like this for recreation every single month, which is probably pretty unlikely. Now, the next section is about savings, and the savings section has to be 10% of your income after taxes. And so if we go back all the way back to the beginning, the first part of our project, when we completed the tax worksheet, on the tax worksheet, it told us some of the information after we input, of course, our salary and our income tax. It told us our monthly income. It told us our taxes on a monthly basis, which we've also already used in our overall budget. And then it told us our disposable income. And what you're going to have to do is take 10% of that amount, which you notice I have already calculated what that is here. And so this amount would need to be spread out among any of the categories as you see fit here in this savings section. And so if I have at least 10%, we're good to go. And in this case, I have 400. And so you can spread it out however you'd like. Put a little less in the emergency fund and more in the transfer to savings, however you structure it, as long as the total is the 10% of your disposable income. This amount here from line 23 on the tax worksheet. As long as it's 10%, we are good to go. Next, the next section is about obligations. And you shouldn't have many credit cards, but you may very well have a student loan. And that's one of the pieces that we also did a little earlier. You'll recall from the career summary questions, you should have likely determined whether you would need a student loan if you have scholarships and bright futures and things like that to help you pay for your education. In the event that you didn't, you will be taking out a student loan in order to pay for those things. And once you have the amount from your career summary question, right, and if you had not accurately portrayed that and maybe made an error and didn't include some of the amounts or didn't deduct some of your scholarships or bright futures, please go ahead and correct that. So this way you have a correct working amount, and then figure out what you're going to need to finance with the financial aid calculator. Remember, with this, don't anticipate any other money coming in from working part-time or something like that, just in case there's no job that is willing to take you on that semester, especially that first semester. I don't want you to not be able to attend school simply because you didn't have this as a part of your plan. So you can get a loan, and whatever the amount of the loan would be, remember that you're going to likely finance much of this for your 4-year college career or potentially longer. You'll leave the interest rate alone. You can change the term as needed. You'll say that you're graduating soon and that you may be graduating with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a PhD potentially. We'll start us off with a bachelor's, and we'll hit calculate. And you'll want to print this page. This shows us the monthly loan amount. Let's say I can't pay that much, right? My budget won't be allowing me to pay that much. I can extend the term in this case up to 15 years, and that'll reduce the payment by a little bit, but I will pay for a significantly longer time. And so we'll want to take that amount and then insert it into our overall budget here in the student loan section. Again, we're not going to have any other types of loans, shouldn't have any other credit cards, shouldn't have anything under alimony or child care, at least not likely. And in terms of federal taxes, you've already completed that, and that should have been completed from the tax worksheet. And the tax worksheet is the total monthly tax amount, and so we'll put that correctly here on from my info as 934. All right. Miscellaneous is for anything else you need to toss in that maybe I didn't think of, that you did, that you found. You can change these titles to fit your needs. Instead of bank fees and postage, you can turn them into something else in case I may have forgotten something. All right, that's all the parts of the budget as far as the overview is concerned. The one final thing we need to do, I'm going to close some of these, is to complete the budget thought sheet. Oh, and one more thing, right? you want to make sure before you complete that you are not over budget. If your number shows up in red here, basically if your spending exceeds your income, you are over budget. Excuse me, yes, if your spending exceeds your income, you are over budget. And you do not want to be over budget. If you're over budget, you can't be over budget because I'm going to be requiring you to stay within your budget. And so that may mean you need to go back and change some things. I can suggest for you, if you find yourself in that predicament, some of the areas that are easy to change and manipulate are things that you have a lot of control over, like your entertainment spending. Maybe you need to nix the vacation. Maybe you need to reduce your rent. That's a big area. Also, after having looked at many of the papers over the last couple of days, some of the car payments are pretty high. And so we can save quite a bit of money there. The other area may be in the dining and eating out and groceries section. Aside from that, some of the other areas that you have some control over, of course, gifts. Those small gifts do add up over the course of the year, and so maybe we can reduce some of our gifting in that section. Otherwise, a lot of these things are things that we need, like electricity and insurance and a phone. So you may end up having to, make some of these small minor changes in order to accommodate your budget. Next up, we've got the budget thought sheet. And here, I'm going to be asking you to tell me about some of the changes that you did have to make. And I know that likely along the way, you'd made some changes. Maybe it's because you had money left over, which I hope is the case, that you had money left over and you wanted to find a new way to spend some of that money. The second question, and by the way, on this first question, please be as specific as possible. Say that I had to change my Honda Civic because the payment was $425 to a Hyundai whatever model, and that payment was going to be $389. So please be very specific as to exactly what changes you had to make. The second question is about expenses that are considered fixed. Those are items that they don't change from one month to the next. So something, say, like your fixed expense, an example would be your rent, right? Your rent doesn't go up or down each month for the term of your lease. At maybe once a year, there's an opportunity for it to go up or down, but that's fixed, right? Your renter's insurance, again, that's fixed. And an example of the variable questions in number 3 would be your electricity, right? Your electricity cost is variable. The more of it you use, the more expensive it's going to be for you. Number 4, I ask you, what did you learn from completing the project? I imagine this project has taught you a lot about some of the things that adults have to consider in terms of making their budget and their overall financial picture. And I want to know about your thoughts. And then if there's any questions you might have, what questions did this create about your future, your work future? And maybe this didn't create questions, maybe this solidified your opinion about your chosen field. And so this is a good area to suggest if you have any questions, as well as give me any feedback. Well, that's the conclusion of our project. I do want to remind you in terms of the turning it in, please use a folder, not a binder. Please make sure that you do print your budget in a portrait mode and not in a landscape mode. I've been getting a lot of them in landscape, and I'd appreciate if you were to turn them in the portrait mode. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at cohen@southbroward.net. Thanks. Have a good day.